So this is the Sony Ericsson Xperia X10. This is Sony Ericsson's first Android phone. And let's start with the design, and we'll just point out some of the more interesting features that you might actually care about. So for one thing, it's actually using a micro USB to charge as well as do all data, as many smartphones are actually doing today. So let me just open that cover to show it to you. So it's a standard micro USB. You charge and you do all your connecting to the computer to transfer your music and your information and whatnot from here. And then you have a 3.5mm headphone jack, which is always brilliant for anything that you want to plug in your own headphones if you want to. It also has a dedicated camera button, a proper two-layered camera button for taking pictures, which, we'll show you later that the camera features on this phone is actually pretty good. So, that's one thing that we want to point out. The buttons at the front, there's only 3 buttons. This is kind of unique for an Android phone, because if you take a look at something like the HTC Hero or the Nexus One, there are tons of buttons. It's like 6, 7 buttons, scroll wheel and all that kind of stuff. But this phone only has these 3 buttons, that's why it makes it very unique and kind of clean. So one of the things about the buttons is that it's not actually very obvious what they actually are, right? So this is actually the menu button, this is the home button, and this is the back button. And then of course we have an 8.1 megapixel camera and an LED flash. So this, Sony Ericsson, I think what they're really best at is still, when it comes to their digital cameras on their mobile phones. One not unique actually, it's actually a negative point, is that the micro SD card is actually blocked by the battery. In other words, this is one of the designs where you need to remove the battery in order to change the micro SD card, which is not so good, because I think we will all prefer if the SD card could be accessible without having you to shut down the phone itself. So that's something that you might want to take note about. The display, the Xperia X10 actually has a 4.0 inch display, which is really, really big. So if you compare with the Nexus One, which has a 3.7 inch display, it's actually a lot bigger. And if you want to compare with an iPhone, let me just take out my iPhone. It's really, really big. It's very wide, in fact, if you actually realized. It's more of if you take a look, compare with the iPhone, the width is actually about the same. So it means that it's a 4.0 inch, it's a taller screen. Yeah, it's a taller screen.
So we're going to show you a little bit about the software of Sony Ericsson's Xperia X10. One of the interesting things with the unlock feature, right, is that you can actually flip it around. So if you're left-handed or right-handed, you can choose whichever way you want to unlock it, right? Which is interesting. Okay, so we'll take a look at the home screen of the Sony Ericsson's Xperia X10. One of the interesting things is that the customizations is this very interesting glossy looking interface, which is what the whole interface is for Sony Ericsson's is going to be like. So they included 2 applications to it, the Timescape and Mediascape. Let's take a look at the Timescape itself. So when you Timescape is actually a software and application that comes with Sony Ericsson that aggregates all your social networking, Twitter, your Facebook, your Twitter, your music, played music, your camera, your photos, your emails, your messages and everything, all your phone calls, and basically aggregates all your information into this tile-like looking interface. So I don't know about you, but I don't quite like about this thing, because one of the things I like is I would rather see everything with all the details there. But some people like to see it in a stripped down small little version of it, so a summarized version. So some people might like it, some people might not. Okay, so you have to actually click on it in order to to interact with it and whatnot. So that is Timescape for you. You can actually set Timescape to be your home screen every time you press the home button here. Yeah, it's set as a separate application, so yeah, you can do something like that. One of the other applications that comes with the Sony Ericsson Xperia X10 is the Mediascape. And this is very, very interesting because it aggregates your music, of course, definitely. Your favorites recently added, play music. I don't have any music here right now. But the interesting thing is it integrates Play Now, which as people who are Sony Ericsson fans, Play Now has been around for quite some time, which with a lot of applications, a lot of music and whatnot. So they've integrated the music into the mediascape. So for those people who, in Singapore specifically, right, I'm not too sure about other countries, but in Singapore, if you want to purchase music, it's very easy because all you need to do is just click on one of the music that you want, click on the track or whatsoever, right, and you just buy. And as you can see, it's $3 SG, Singapore dollars, okay? And it charges to your final bill in your monthly bill for your subscription. So that's about it, Whereas for other music stores, for example, like the Amazon MP3 store, you have to give your credit card or whatever. And for the Play Now, it's going to be extended from just. Right now it's only the music, but it's going to have applications for the Android and so on and so forth, which is going to come soon in the future, I think, if I'm not wrong. And it's service provider independent, so as long as you put in your SIM card, you can actually purchase music just with the Play Now store. Sony Ericsson will settle all the billing and everything, and it will come to your final bill, your monthly phone charges and everything. It will just appear there, and you pay the telco.
So in Singapore at least, so it's service provider. I mean, there's no setup you need to do. There's no registration. You just put any SIM card in there. You just buy a song, for example, and it will just appear in your bill.
Yes, that's right.
So anybody can just swap in their SIM card in right now, and then if they just buy one song, and then one song will just appear there.
That's right, in your charges.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
Zero setup. Yeah.
And also, I'm not too sure why it's not here right now in terms of the application, but there is going to be there's going to be a Play Now application store also for the Android phone. It's going to have the same model. So you just plug in your SIM card and you purchase an application that's a paid application or whatever, and the charges will be just put into your monthly bill.
Yeah, but it's a separate store altogether.
It's a separate store altogether from Android, and that's one of the problems with Android right now with a lot of countries is that you cannot purchase paid applications. You can only download free applications. So this Play Now from Sony Ericsson is one of the avenues of offering paid application. One of the benefits of Play Now is that it's tightly integrated into your service provider, so you don't have to you don't have to worry about like credit card set up and all that. It just charges directly to your monthly subscription bill. So one of the things with the camera is that we talked about the dedicated camera button. So it's good that you just have to press and hold, and it will load up the camera application, right? And we talked about how great the camera is. Oh yes. We talked about how great the camera is, and I did comparison with this Sony Ericsson and the Nexus One, and it's actually a lot better in features and whatnot. So there are a lot of additional features from the Sony Ericsson itself, as you come to know and love with with Sony Ericsson's camera phones. So camera quality really good. There we go. This is the video portion. You can actually have YouTube video, VGA, QVGA, and wide VGA. I'm not too sure whether it can do HD. So it doesn't seem to do HD. That's about it.
So this is the Sony Ericsson Xperia X10. Just wanted to let you know that this phone is actually running on Android 1.6. And the latest version of Android right now is 2.1. And Sony Ericsson has kind of promised that it will be upgrading all its phones to 2.1 in the third or fourth quarter. So just want to let you know about that. It's retailing at 588 Singapore dollars in Singapore with a 2-year contract. All right, with any of the 3 service providers in Singapore. Just thought that mention that Singapore. Don't ask us anything about outside of Singapore. We don't know the prices for that. Okay, our email address is gear65@tech65.org, and you want to visit www.tech65.org to check out more videos and all our other podcasts. So that's it for Gear65. Goodbye.
Bye.